take silence. It says Orchot Tzadikim, we're up to the Shara Shtika, the gated silence. We said last time that it's not good to be quiet all the time. You have to sometimes say something. When we say be quiet, it means that when Rishon Gamliel said the best thing for a person is to be quiet, it means the things that he's not supposed to say. Things that your feelings want you to say, or your mind tells you to say, but it's not appropriate to say, you shouldn't say. There's some people told me, Rabbi, in Russia they taught us, being quiet is a virtue. You could sit at the table and not say nothing. I said, what do you mean? You have to be a Abba. You have to say Divrei Torah. You have to lead your home. You have to tell people what they need to hear. You can't say, I'm quiet and I'm always quiet. What do you mean? A person who imagine you have a cup. You saw somebody put poison inside. And then somebody else comes to drink it. They don't know. That's the best thing is to be quiet. Why should I say something? What do you mean? You saved the guy's life. You have to say something. They don't let him drink the poison. So being quiet doesn't mean every second. It means in certain situations. So the Gemara says a story. The Midrash says a story. Rav Gamliel made a feast. They gave his servant Izik, tongue to go cook for the meat to serve. Some the servant cooked well, and some he overcooked. He made them hard. So what happened? He said first he brought the soft ones, then he brought the harder ones. And Gamliel said, why did you do this? Some soft, some hard. He says that the servant said mashal because he wanted to not get in trouble. He said, listen, shekol min halashon leodicha, shekol min halashon. Im adam rotze oseh ota raka o kasha. To show you everything comes from the tongue. You can make your tongue soft, or you can make your tongue hard. Some people, they can say nice, soft words. Some people, they say, they go and they give you hard. That's why Hashem made it come out this way. What do you want from me?
Like Abraham Avinu went and get sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And he was giving them, the Mepharshim say, he was giving them a hint to be careful in the meal. Don't say evil things. Don't say bad things. There was a certain king. Chazal tells us a certain king. That what happened? That he had many counselors, sages, in attendants. So one time the king noticed that the wisest of all the attendants was quiet. He says, why are you so quiet? Oh, good morning. Same thing. No, we didn't change it.
On the bottom?
No, вот эта дверь, this door.
Oh, this. It's 2 and 4, and then 3.
At the same time, 2, 4?
2 and 4, and then 3.
They should make one code. There's a lot of people.
It doesn't work?
No,
He doesn't
thought
know.
it's the same number.
Oh.
Right.
Okay, fine. So that happened. So he asked his attendant. He asked his advisor, "Why are you so quiet? You're the wisest guy, and you're quiet." He says, "Listen, there's 4 types of speech. Yeah." He says there's speech that is detrimental. There's speech that nobody ever should say. It's cursing, speaking dirty. He said then there's another level of speech. He says that sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's bad. For example, praising somebody, right? And then they're going to make somebody else angry. That's a sur, right? For example, praise. What do you think? You think praising is always good. What do you mean? No, it's also avak lashon hara. If you praise your friend and you know he has an enemy, and the enemy hears this and he gets upset. Why are you saying he's a tzaddik? He's not a tzaddik. He's a this. He's that. You're frustrating him. You're provoking him. So therefore, he says sometimes praise is good. Sometimes praise is not good. He says the third is not bad. It's not good. Like idle talk, right? What's idle talk? It's the dvarim betelim. It's not. If you could learn, so it's definitely a sin to speak dvarim betelim. But let's say, okay, to who? To you? Okay. Yeah, no problem. So now what happens? He says, for example, you talk about how tall this wall is, how much money they spent on it, talking about the kings and the princes. He says, but the 4th type of speech is the best. The best is Divrei Torah. He says, but even that is split up into 5 types. There's a mitzvah, right? And then the second one is to be avoided. We said the second one, which is praising people in front of their enemies. And then he said, for example, speaking of Torah and Yirat Shamayim, But if a person can use speech for false testimony, indecent speech, lashon hara, all these different types, he was telling him that there's many different types of speech, and a person has to be very careful on which one to use. So he said that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. So he says, I felt in this situation it wasn't good to speak because it would be considered. He gave him a whole shiur on what basically is good speech or not good speech. So now the sages tell us that most of the world's talk is unnecessary. Most of the world's talk, it just feels good. It's fun to talk, right? They say on Shabbat, Shena b'Shabbat ta'anug. Shabbat stands for sleeping on Shabbat is a pleasure. Also, Sicha betela ta'anug. And also on Shabbat, schmoozing is fun. People talk about this and talk about that and their experience and their life, and it's fun. It's a good way to pass the time. Maybe they wouldn't do that during the week. Maybe some ladies do. Some ladies love to talk and schmooze. And they call their friend and they can talk for an hour, no problem. But he says most of it is unnecessary. Aside for those that are strictly forbidden, which we said definitely is a sewer.
Unless you wake up for Ness, nobody's talking. Everybody's sleeping, no sins committed.
Yeah, right, exactly. He says, but also you should know, if you could have gave a compliment and you don't, what do Chazal say? Chazal say, whenever you could have gave a compliment and you didn't, that's also an insult. That's also an insult. So silence sometimes is insulting, right? So he says a story over here. He says that Rav Yaakov Katz, one of the great Musar giants, he was riding in a horse carriage in Kovna with Ritzel Petterberger, who was the student of Ritzel Salanter. So what happened? They were sitting behind them were women who were against the philosophy of Musar. In their conversation, they were speaking lashon hara about the rabbi. So upon exiting, he expressed joy to those who were escorting him, even though he was insulted. He didn't get offended at all. He says, "I worked on myself. I had Musar. You guys insulted me. It didn't bother me." He said, "What does this mean? It doesn't mean that if one does feel hurt emotionally, he lacks in bitachon and humility." He was saying that what? It says, V'yishma Moshe v'yipol apanav. By Korach, what did Moshe hear? They're rebelling. He fell on his face. What does that mean? Targum Yonatan says that they were accusing Moshe of adultery. What were they saying? They're saying that Moshe is sleeping with their wives. And Moshe was so embarrassed about that. What? Moshe was the most humble of people. You would think what? He should just ignore it. Why is it bothering him? So it says that you see, even a person who has to distance himself from honor, he still feels pain and shame when he's under suspicion, and that's the nature of man. It's not the problem. But the fact that you worked on that, that you removed that yourself, that the person made fun of you, you didn't get upset, it didn't hurt you at all. That's already not a man. That's already an angel. That's already the highest level. So he was very proud of himself that he didn't get upset. So therefore, a person has to make sure to be quiet also in the bathroom, like Gemara says. A person, in some places, you're not allowed to speak, right? As the Shlomo HaMelech says, Et lahashot, et ledaber. Time to be quiet and time to speak. He says, the sages say, if you cannot find somebody to teach you musar, be silent, lest you speak foolishness. You know, some business people do. Some business people, they go and they talk, and they're making it up as they go. Right? They go and they smooth talking, they say, yeah, this is going to do this is going to do that. He doesn't know what he's saying. He didn't check the books, he didn't do research, he's just sweet talking you. It's like there's to be a comic, that the comic book. The comic was that the boy, he asked the father, why is the world like this? Why is the moon like this? So the father, he didn't know anything, but he didn't want to look stupid, so he starts making it up, because of this, and when the ducks, they come on the lake, it causes this and that. He's just making up as it goes. So he says the person has to be careful not to fall into that. There's some people who are storytellers. Right? They go and they tell stories, they make it up as they go, they're liars, they all the time, yeah, and I went to this, and I did that, and I saw there, it was him, a whole, story in his head he cooked up, and nobody could verify it. Why not? Tell the story, it's cute, no? The person has to also be careful not to fall into that. A person who gets shamed and insults him, and he's in quiet, he will receive double portion. The world stands on him. Because what? Because he says he was quiet, he wanted to answer over there. The nature is to say something and you hold yourself back. That is a very big virtue of silence. He says, we'll end with this. He says, Rav Cheskel Abramsky was known to say to other people, for this I need 6 hours to think about it. He says, what do you mean? This is an easy question in Gemara, Rabbi. He said, no. This I need to work on. The fact that the person stops and thinks before he speaks, before he answers, this is what this rabbi was doing. This rabbi said, no, I want to answer right away, I'm going to teach myself how to. No, I'm going to think. Some people, the opposite. The right away, what they think to say, they say. A person has to look for musar. He has to learn. Think before I speak. I'll give you an answer later, and I'll get back to you. Why? Because we have to fight our nature. Baruch